Today is the final day of Uber and OU ban releases, and both Zamazenta forms are going to be allowed in Scarlet and Violet OU. And we'll also be talking about Urshifu-Single-Strike being banned in SVOU and Flutter Mane being banned in OU as well. So, first of all, I apologize if my acoustics are weird. I'm away from home and I'm recording on the road, but we still got our Blue Yeti mic, so we're chilling there. So, what do we got today? We got the two Zamazenta forms, which kind of surprised me. I predicted that the Crown form was going to be released in OU, but I don't think the regular form is going to be too terrible to deal with. I think it's at least deserving of a suspect, and it was a pretty unanimous decision. Not super unanimous, but it was 7-2 for both votes. And it's interesting, the people who voted for each version were actually different people voting it to be in Uber. It needed over 2/3 Uber votes to start in Uber. So yeah, it needed a lot of votes to go into Uber, which is interesting. But anyway, so what do I think of this Pokemon? Zamazenta is not the most threatening Pokemon. However, what is threatening about it is its high speed stat and its versatility in what sets it can run. This is a set that Pokeaim and friends used in a live a couple days ago. It's a Body Press Iron Defense substitute set. They ran Heavy Slam instead of Crunch though. This is a set I think is going to be the most fun and interesting to use, because Iron Defense Body Press sounds like a really fun idea, right? We finally gave Zamazenta Body Press, which is good. So this is a set I think will be the most fun. I don't know if it'll be the best set or not, but the problem with it is that Zamazenta needs a lot of coverage moves to defeat a lot of OU Pokemon. So right now, if you run Crunch as your coverage move, you can hit the ghost types. You can hit Goldango, you can hit Skeledirge, you can hit Dragapult. The problem is though, you can't hit Pokemon like Hatterene. Hatterene is going to fully wall you. Iron Moth is going to pretty much fully wall you. Iron Valiant is going to pretty much fully wall you. So there's obviously ups and downs to whatever coverage move, but if you want to run Stone Edge in your Crunch slot instead, now Ghost types resist you. Or if you want to run Iron Head or Heavy Slam for Hatterene, well, again, the Ghost wall you, and you only have, there's only so many coverage moves that you can run if you want to run Iron Defense and Substitute, which I think are both necessary for the sub Zamazenta, and you're obviously going to run Body Press as well. Some other just hard counters are going to be Don Bozo, great defensive stat with the Unaware ability especially. Clodsire could be a good pinch counter, and I'll show you guys the calcs for that one. So as you guys can see, against OU defensive Clodsire, Body Press and Crunch aren't hardly doing any damage at all to it. So regardless of how much you set up on it, and Zamazenta doesn't really have a setup move for Clodsire either, which makes it very good for Clodsire, a very good counter for that. So again, you have to pick your coverage move wisely on Zamazenta if you're going to run this set, and there are a lot of good options to it. So the main thing that Zamazenta I was talking about earlier is that it has a lot of versatility and it's very fast. So a Pokemon that has a lot of variability and is also very fast is very threatening, because they always get the move first. And if you predict the wrong set, well, now you might be, instead of being 1 turn behind, you're now 2 turns behind, because your opponent brings in Zamazenta on you on a Pokemon that you have that doesn't do very good against its matchup. And you know that. You can't do anything against it. Like say you have trying to think of an example here. What's a Pokemon that would not fare well against this thing? Like, golly, I don't even know. Garganacci. Okay, yeah. Say you have Garganacci and you're not going to fare well against the Zamazenta matchup. You want to switch out. Okay, you're going to predict that this thing is a Double Dance. You're going to assume that it's a banned dog, right? And if it's banded, it's going to go for close combat against you. And you have Hatterene, right? So that's good. You have Hatterene. So you switch in Hatterene. Oh, guess what? Zamazenta just substituted. So now you got to make the risky play of, okay, is Zamazenta running Heavy Slam or Iron Head to hit Hatterene? Do I need a Terra in my Hatterene? Do I assume that it's not running that coverage move and Hatterene was the right switch in after all? You get the wrong move. You get the wrong call. You click the Draining Kiss button. Zamazenta, Iron Heads you, Heavy Slams you, I actually am not sure how much that is doing to max defensive Hatterene, but let's see. That's why we have the calcs open, right? All right, OU Calm Mind. This is pretty bulky, 204 bold. Heavy Slam's pretty much a clean 2-hit KO. Draining Kiss does give you enough recovery, though, to live another round of it. Iron Head, I actually don't know which is doing more damage. Oh yeah, Heavy Slam definitely is. So you definitely want to run Heavy Slam on Zamazenta if you're going to run one of them, if you're doing it for Hatterene coverage. So yeah, so Hatterene would be still a decent switch in even at that. So it's and that's what, and Zamazenta has a lot of answers, right? Like it's not like Zamazenta is necessarily the most threatening Pokemon, but it does have enough versatility that if you don't have the right answers for it, and now you're 2 turns behind, you're really in a bad position. Some other Zamazenta sets you could run is Choice Band and just all out attacking. Zamazenta has a nice 120 attack stat with a 138 speed stat, which is very impressive. Again, you can just be all out attacking with it, and you can come in on a pinch as well, because you can raise your defense by 1 stage once per battle when the first time you come in, so that's nice. Double Dance, I don't think this set's going to have any viability, but I thought it'd be interesting to talk about because Zamazenta does get Trail Blades this generation. So yeah, and Howl is its one setup move to boost its attack stat, which is also interesting. We did see Howl get ran on Zamazenta sets when it was being suspect tested in Sword and Shield OU, so I mean, we could see that return again. Howl's not the best setup move in the world, but you know, it is a setup move, so it is something to take into consideration when you're fighting Zamazenta, I think. So another thing about Zamazenta is you don't know which form Zamazenta is. Well, actually, I could be wrong. Do you know which form Zamazenta is before you enter the battle? I don't think you do. And that can also be a problem because both Zamazenta forms are allowed and both of them serve different roles. Like having that item slot freed up for Zamazenta is actually huge. Choice Band Zamazenta actually hits harder than Rusted Shield Zamazenta Crown, because I mean they have the exact same attack stat, honestly, which is that's something to take into consideration. But like Choice Band Zamazenta actually hits harder than max defensive Body Press Crown Zamazenta, just because Body Press has lower base power, and Choice Band just adds that much extra damage. So you know, both forms are going to be threatening. We'll see how it goes. I'm guessing one of the forms is going to be banned eventually. I think it'll come down to a suspect test, though. But something else to recognize is that there are a lot of Pokemon that are also coming with Home that are probably going to be checks Zamazenta as well, such as Arcanine, for example. Arcanine can't counter it, but a Scarf set could check it with Flare Blitz. Meowscarada is also another great Pokemon because Flower Trick does a nice 50% and doesn't care about Zamazenta's boost. Of course, though, that means that Meowscarada has to be banded and faster, and also it's not going to live the second hit. But, you know, it's an interesting thought at least. Something cool about Zamazenta, though, that I'll also mention before we move on to the Urshifu, is you don't even need to run Adamant to be able to, like, outspeed the base 119 Pokemon. So like Roaring Moon and Cinderace, you can outspeed with a lot of speed investment and not having to run plus speed. So that's something good to know, I think. So yeah, just so you know, you don't need to be fully speed invested on Zamazenta. You can put that plus nature into your defensive stat. So that's all I'm going to say about Zamazenta. I think it'll be interesting. We'll see how it turns out. I'm surprised that both forms were allowed in. So we'll see how it goes. Urshifu. So Urshifu, I was actually wanting to see. I would have voted for OU personally, just to see how it worked out. I think that I know its coverage is pretty unresisted, and its main counter last generation in Clefable is not in the meta right now, and it's not returning with Home. So I do think that it probably would have been very strong, but Gen 9 is a very strong meta as well. Excuse me, holy cow. Sorry. Yeah, Jesus. Scarlet and Violet's a very strong meta, and I think Urshifu could have fit into that. I'm surprised they're at least not giving it a chance. Wicked Blow is also nerfed by 5 base power, which I think it should have been from the start. I don't know why it wasn't that way from the start to match with Surging Strikes, especially because Dark type is a better attacking type anyway, but that's whatever, I guess. So I'm surprised it didn't at least, you know, give it a chance. There are some counters as well. There's Don Bozo. There's Azumarill. Azumarill could have been a good counter. The problem is there's only 3 good fairy types in OU, and 2 of them are not. Actually, all 3 of them. Sorry. Hatterene is for defensive purposes most of the time. 2 of them are for offensive purposes, right? And Hatterene is not a switch because Wicked Blow is still going to be hitting Hatterene for a ton of damage. Now, of course, it could be Choice Banded. You switch it on close combat. Wicked Blow is not going to do much on the follow-up, but still, it's doing a lot of damage to Hatterene. That's your one check. However, Great Tusk, I feel like would have been a pretty okay counter. In fact, let me roll the couch real quick here. Swords, Wicked Blow. And let's look for the Great Tusculus, physically defensive. Oh wow, close combat's almost a 2-hit KO actually on banded sets. But then you know it's banned and you can find another switch in. I think it should have been given a chance. I think if you're gonna give Hatterene a chance, you have to give Urshifu a chance. I don't know why it was so unanimous for Hatterene to be allowed in, but not Urshifu. I don't know. I think people are just very allergic to this thing. And I mean, it's justified, but also, I think you ought to give it a chance at least. And honestly, it could have been a good like interaction between it and Magearna, them checking each other. So I don't know. I think it's kind of ridiculous that they're not giving it a chance, but that's whatever. There's 3 main sets that I think are going to be ran. There's Choice Band / Scarf. Both these sets were very prevalent in OU last generation. It's just obviously going for straight up power, straight up breaking immediately out of the gates. Very good. U-turn and Sucker Punch mind games as well. So yeah, swords. This is a Sword Stance Urshifu with Lumberry. So something interesting is Urshifu actually got Sword Stance this generation, which I guess is part of maybe why the council was allergic to letting it in, because Sword Stance obviously is way better than Bulk Up in terms of attacking power. And it would have been basically a King Gambit 2.0, except Unseen Fist is way less strong than Supreme Overlord. So, and the attack stat's basically the same. See, this is why I don't get why it wasn't let in, because like you're gonna let freaking oh my gosh, King Gambit in the tier, yeah, and not even give Urshifu a chance. Urshifu doesn't even have the same. Actually, maybe it is. Yeah, Urshifu's attack stat's actually less than it too. So I don't know. I think they really should have given it a chance. I think it's ridiculous that they didn't. I think only one person voted for it to be an OU. Yeah, shout out to TPP. One guy who was gonna give it a chance. Yeah, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. We'll see. I don't know if we can really see or not, but I think they should have given it a chance. And I'm kind of sad that they didn't, especially because they're going to let Magearna in the tier. Like, Urshifu's way stronger. So that's my final thoughts. I guess Terra maybe just makes it, Terra and Sword Stance just makes it over the top. So, also they have a test server, apparently, the OU Council does. So they've been, I guess maybe they have some experience that I don't know about. So that could be part of it too. So, the last Pokemon that there is to talk about is Flutter Mane. And funny enough, I said in yesterday's video that Flutter Mane would, if someone was going to vote for Flutter Mane to go into OU, it'd be Flaming Victini. And sure enough, that is who voted for it to be in OU. So I think Flaming Victini is an absolutionist in terms of letting stuff back in, just letting them interact with the new meta and see what happens, which I can respect that, honestly. I mean, you can't even be too mad about that. At least he's consistent. They're consistent, you know. So Flutter Mane, why is Flutter Mane obviously a problem? Why is it not going to be allowed back in? Why is it too OP? Why are the new Pokemon not mattering? So Flutter Mane has one of the strongest offensive types in the game in Ghost Fairy, and it gets the greatest fairy type move of all, Moonblast. I think it's one of the most spammable moves ever created, actually, even more spammable than like Earthquake. You also have the second 30% chance to lower the target special attack by 1. So, and Shadow Ball has a chance to lower the target SpDef by 1 as well. Flutter Mane also has really good coverage. It has Energy Ball, Mystical Fire, Dark Pulse, Drain. It can run Draining Kiss too if you want to keep it healthier. You can run Hex if you're running like Toxic Spikes or Will-O-Wisp spam. You have Power Gem as well. Psyshock is also a really good one. You have Thunderbolt as well. This thing is just very good, and it's basically a Miss Magius on Coke, because Coke, adrenaline, I don't know the word. It's on caffeine. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. Base 55 for the HP attack and defense, and then base 135 for the special attack, SpDef, and speed. So this thing is just very strong, very fast, very good typing. I get why they didn't let it back in. I wouldn't have let it back in either. You could run Booster Energy, and you could run a substitute set. That set was being run around for the first 2 days of SVOU as well. Because, you know, if you got the switch in right on Flutter Mane, which you're still taking a shit ton from it, even if you get the switch in right. But even if you get the switch in right, you know, maybe it's a Booster Energy substitute set. And, you know, you get the switch in right, but can you really survive a 3-hit KO, you know? That's the question. I don't know. Do you? I don't know. But you have Psyshock here to hit even SpDef Pokemon. So even if you have a good specially defensive Pokemon, you're still gonna take a million from Psyshock. And another Flutter Mane set you could run just like straight up utility as well. You can run like leftovers crap. You could run like a Calm Mind substitute set, and then you could run Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss. Another Flutter Mane set that you could run. So you could literally run setup Flutter Mane. You could even run like a Thunder Wave substitute. Actually, you probably want Booster Energy on this. Thunder Wave substitute Hex Moonblast set, which that would be crazy actually. That's more of a theory crafted Flutter Mane, but I mean, I think that could work actually. That's actually super annoying. You could run Taunt on it too. You could run like Shadow Ball Moonblast's Taunt substitute. You could really run any because honestly, these two stab moves pretty much hit the entire meta game. So you could really just run Shadow Ball Moonblast and then you're substitute in one utility move. And I mean, Flutter Mane's so good, man. Flutter Mane has an amazing move pool, and that's what makes it so toxic in the metagame as well. So overall, what do I think? I think Urshifu should have been given a chance. Glad Flutter Mane's gone, and I think one of the Zamazenta forms is probably going to get suspect tested at the very least. I think one of them will eventually get banned though, but I could be completely wrong, and we will see how the meta shapes up, because neither of them have reliable recovery, which is a huge problem for defensive Pokemon. You need reliable recovery on them. So how are we looking for Scarlet and Violet post home? So we have quite a few OU winners. We have the Zamazentas are coming to OU, Regeliki's coming to OU, Magirna's coming to OU, Shinpao is coming to OU, and the rest got sent to Ubers. Also, Last Respect got banned from Ubers, so Houndstone will be returning as well. Everything else, if something was Ubers before this generation, it's probably going to be Ubers. Like, for example, all the box legendaries except for Zamazenta forms will be in Ubers. Trying to think of what other Ubers beforehand are obviously going to just get instantly sent to Ubers this gen, but the box art, like, so the Dialga, Palkias, and Garatinas are obviously going to all go to Ubers. Zacian is obviously going to go straight to Ubers. So yeah, I do have a video about all the incoming Pokemon. If you guys want to see it, it'll be in the upper right hand corner. It is a tier list video I did, and yeah, check it out. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How do we feel going into Scarlet and Violet? What do you guys think of all the bans? What do you think of this week or today's bans? Home comes out in less than 24 hours. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you all for following me along. with these videos. I've had a lot of fun talking about these new Pokemon coming, and let me know if you guys like this kind of content. I know the views have been really good, so it seems like this kind of content is liked. So we'll do more probably new stuff in the future. Home was a big one though, because there was new stuff for it every single day. So yeah, have fun in the home metagame, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.